The emergency meeting room deep under Earth's capital city was full of worried voices. President Garcia sat at the head of the long table, her face pale. Around her, the most important people in Earth's government argued loudly. "We have to surrender," shouted Defense Minister Roberts. 800 alien warships, we cannot fight that many." "If we surrender, we become slaves," replied General Tae-min Yoon, Earth's top military officer. "The aliens will take everything. Our science, our freedom, our children's future." Captain Yoon-ji Kim sat quietly in the corner, waiting for the right moment to speak. Next to her, Dr. Dong-hyun Lee and Dr. So-young Choi looked nervous. They carried a briefcase that could change everything. President Garcia raised her hand for silence. "General Yoon, what are our military options?" Tae-min stood up. His uniform was covered with medals from the border wars. "Our fleet has 53 ships. The aliens have 847. In a normal battle, we would lose in minutes." "Then we surrender," said Minister Roberts. "No," said Tae-min firmly. "There is another option. Captain Kim has something to show us." All eyes turned to Yoon-ji. She had been waiting for this moment for 10 years. She stood up slowly and walked to the front of the room. 10 years ago, when we first met the aliens, I started a secret project," she began. "I knew they were stronger than us, so I asked our best scientists to find a way to level the battlefield." She nodded to Dr. Dong-hyun, who opened the briefcase. Inside were dozens of tiny metal balls, each smaller than a marble. "These are quantum disruptors," Dr. So-young explained. "Each one can destroy an alien warship." Minister Roberts laughed. "Those tiny things? You are joking." "I am not joking," Dr. So-young said calmly. She picked up one of the metal balls. "This contains technology that took us 10 years to develop. It can travel through hyperspace and find the quantum core that powers alien ships." Dr. Dong-hyun stepped forward. "We studied every piece of alien technology we could find. We learned how their quantum systems work. All alien species use the same basic design. It makes them vulnerable." "Vulnerable to what?" asked President Garcia. "Chaos," said Yoon-ji. "Alien technology follows perfect mathematical rules. It is very organized and predictable, but if you introduce random quantum fluctuations, their systems cannot handle it. They collapse." General Tae-min looked interested. "How would we deliver these disruptors to the alien fleet?" "That is the dangerous part," Yoon-ji admitted. "Someone has to fly close to the aliens, close enough to release the disruptors without being detected." "Impossible," said Minister Roberts. "They would destroy any ship that approaches." "Not if—" "The ship appeared to be surrendering," Dr. Dong-hyun suggested. "We could send a civilian transport, make it look like Earth's government is bringing the surrender documents." President Garcia looked thoughtful. "Would this plan really work?" Dr. So-young nodded. "We tested it many times on captured alien equipment. The disruptors are invisible to their sensors. Once released, they spread through hyperspace faster than light. Every alien ship in the fleet would be hit at the same time." "And then what happens to the ships?" asked General Tae-min. "They die," said Yoon-ji simply. "No power, no weapons, no life support. The crews might survive for a few hours in emergency suits, but the ships become useless metal." The room was quiet for a long moment. Everyone understood what this meant. If the plan worked, humanity would defeat the most powerful fleet in galactic history. If it failed, Earth would be destroyed. "Who would pilot this suicide mission?" asked Minister Roberts. "It is not a suicide mission," Yoon-ji corrected. "The pilot would escape after releasing the disruptors. We have volunteers." "Who?" "Lieutenant Jin Ho-nam volunteered first," General Tae-min said. "He is our best pilot. He flew bombing missions during the colony rebellion. If anyone can do this, he can." President Garcia looked around the table. "I need to know what everyone thinks." "Minister Roberts?" Roberts shook his head. "This is too risky. If it fails, we all die." "General Yoon?" "I support the plan," Tae-min said. "Surrender means slavery. This gives us a chance to stay free." "Dr. Lee and Dr. Choi, are you certain this technology will work?" Both scientists nodded. "We are certain," Dr. Dong-hyun said. "The physics is solid. The tests were successful." President Garcia was quiet for a long time. Outside, they could hear the sounds of panic in the streets. People were leaving the cities. Some were praying, others were saying goodbye to their families. "Captain Kim," the president said finally, "if we do this, what are our chances of success?" Hyunji thought carefully before answering. "The technology will work. The disruptors will destroy the alien ships. The question is whether our pilot can get close enough to deploy them without being discovered." "Give me a number." 70% chance of success, Hyunji said. "Maybe 80% if everything goes perfectly." "And if we surrender?" 0% chance of staying free, General Taemin answered. "The aliens do not make deals. They take what they want." President Garcia stood up and walked to the wall screen. She pressed a button and the alien fleet appeared. Hundreds of massive warships hung in space like metal vultures. "My advisors say I should surrender to save lives," she said quietly. "But what kind of lives would we be saving? Lives as slaves? Lives without hope?" She turned back to the group. "I have made my decision. We will try Captain Kim's plan. General Yoon, prepare our remaining fleet for defensive positions around Earth. If the plan fails, we fight to the end." "Yes, Madam President," Taemin said. "Captain Kim, how long do you need to prepare?" 12 hours to load the disruptors and brief the pilot, Yoonji replied. "We need to move fast. The aliens are expecting our answer soon." "Dr. Lee and Dr. Choi, can you make more disruptors if we need them?" "We have enough for this mission," Dr. So-young said. "Each disruptor can destroy multiple ships if they are close together. The alien fleet is packed tightly in formation. This actually helps us." President Garcia nodded. "Then we do this. But I want one thing clear. This information does not leave this room. If the aliens learn about our plan, we are all dead." Everyone agreed. They were about to gamble the future of humanity on tiny metal balls and the courage of one pilot. The meeting ended. Yoonji walked with the two scientists to their laboratory. The hallways were busy with people carrying supplies and weapons. Earth was preparing for war. "Are you really confident this will work?" Yoonji asked quietly. Dr. Dong-hyun smiled. "The aliens think they know everything about technology, but they have never met a species like humans. We do not follow their rules. Humans are chaos made into people," Dr. So-young added. "The aliens build perfect systems. We build systems that adapt and survive. In the end, survival is more important than perfection." They reached the laboratory where hundreds of quantum disruptors waited in neat rows. Each one looked harmless, but together they carried enough power to change galactic history. "Jin-ho will need to release them at exactly the right moment," Dr. Dong-hyun explained. "Too early and they will spread too thin. Too late and the aliens might detect them." "He is a good pilot," Yoonji said. "If anyone can do this, he can." Outside, the countdown continued. In 60 hours, humanity would be free or extinct. There was no middle ground. The three humans looked at their tiny weapons and hoped they had built something strong enough to defeat an empire that had ruled the stars for millennia. Soon they would find out. The alarm bells rang across Earth Defense Station Alpha. Commander Hyunwoo Park ran down the metal hallway, his boots making loud sounds on the floor. Other officers moved quickly around him, their faces showing worry and fear. Something big was happening. Hyunwoo reached the main control room and stopped. Through the huge glass windows he could see space, but space looked different today. Instead of empty black with tiny stars, there were ships. Hundreds and hundreds of alien ships. They filled the sky like angry clouds. "Sir, we have a message. Coming in," said Lieutenant Ji-ho at his computer station. His hands shook as he worked the controls. "It's from the alien fleet." "Put it on the main screen," Hyunwoo said. His voice stayed calm, even though his heart beat fast. As a commander, he had to be strong for his people. The big screen in front of them turned on. An alien face appeared. It looked like a giant lizard with red eyes and sharp teeth. The creature wore a fancy military uniform with many medals. When it spoke, its voice was deep and scary. "I am Admiral Cathvar of the Sorok Empire. the alien said. "I speak for the galactic hegemony. You humans have broken our laws. You refuse to give us your quantum research. You asked for seats in our council like you are our equals. This cannot be allowed." Hyun-woo felt angry, but he kept his face blank. The aliens wanted to steal human science and treat Earth like slaves. They had been trying to control humanity since first contact 5 years ago. "You have 72 hours, the alien continued. "Surrender all your research, surrender your military, surrender your government. If you do not, we will destroy every human world. We have 847 warships. You have never seen power like this." The screen went black. The control room became very quiet. Everyone stared at Hyun-woo, waiting for him to say something. "How many ships did our sensors count?" Hyun-woo asked. 847, sir," answered Sergeant Min-seo. "All of them are bigger than our largest ships. Some are the size of small moons." Hyun-woo walked to the window and looked at the enemy fleet. Each ship had weapons that could break planets. The aliens had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had destroyed other species for much smaller crimes than what Earth had done. "Sir, what are our orders?" asked Lieutenant Ji-ho. Before Hyun-woo could answer, his communication device beeped. "Commander Park, this is Captain Yoon-ji Kim. I need to see you right away. Come to meeting room 7, tell no one else." Hyun-woo knew Yoon-ji well. She worked for Earth's secret military projects. If she wanted to meet now, it meant she had important information. "Keep watching the alien fleet," Hyun-woo told his team. "If they move closer or do anything new, call me right away." He left the control room and walked through quiet hallways. Other people on the station looked scared. Some cried, some prayed. Everyone knew about the alien message now. The news had spread to every human world in minutes. Meeting room 7 was small and hidden deep inside the station. When Hyun-woo walked in, he saw Yoon-ji waiting for him. She looked tired but not scared. Next to her sat 2 people he had never seen before. "Hyun-woo, sit down," Yoon-ji said. "We need to talk about something that could save Earth." The woman next to Yoon-ji was young with smart eyes. "I am Dr. So-young Choi," she said. "I work on quantum science." The man was older with gray hair. "Dr. Dong-hyun Lee," he said. "I also study quantum technology." Hyun-woo sat down and looked at them carefully. "What is this about?" Yoon-ji leaned forward. "For the past 10 years, we have been working on a secret project. The government knows about it, but almost no one else does. We call it Silent Thunder." "What kind of project?" Hyun-woo asked. Dr. Dong-hyun spoke first. "When we first met the aliens, we knew they were much stronger than us. Their ships, their weapons, their shields, everything was better. So we decided to study them. We got pieces of alien technology from crashed ships and broken weapons," Dr. So-young added. "We learned how their quantum systems work, and we found something interesting." "What did you find?" Hyun-woo asked. "They all think the same way," Yoon-ji said. "Every alien species in the hegemony builds their technology using the same patterns. They follow the same rules, they use the same mathematics, it makes them predictable." Dr. Dong-hyun nodded. "Humans think differently. We are more creative. We see solutions they cannot see. This gives us an advantage." Hyun-woo felt confused. "But how does that help us? They still have 800 ships, and we have maybe 50. "Numbers do not matter if you know how to break their technology," Dr. So-young said. She opened her bag and took out a small device. It looked like a tiny metal ball. "This is a quantum disruptor," she explained. "It is smaller than a grain of sand. We can make millions of them. They travel through hyperspace, faster than light. When they reach an alien ship, they find the quantum core that powers everything." "And then what?" Hyun-woo asked. "They cause the quantum core to fail," Dr. Dong-hyun said. "Without the core, the ship has no power, no weapons, no shields, no life support. The ship becomes a floating piece of metal." Yoon-ji looked at Hyun-woo seriously. "We tested this on captured alien technology. It works perfectly, but we have never tried it on a real alien fleet." "How would we get close enough to use these disruptors?" Hyun-woo asked. "That is the hard part," Yoon-ji admitted. "Someone would have to fly a ship close to the alien fleet. close enough to release the disruptors without being discovered. Hyun-woo thought about this plan. It sounded impossible. The aliens would destroy any Earth ship that came too close. But maybe there was a way. What if we pretended to surrender? He suggested. Send a ship that looks like it is bringing Earth surrender. The aliens would let it get close. Dr. So-young smiled. That could work. The disruptors are invisible to their sensors. They would never know what hit them. There is one more thing, Dr. Dong-hyun said. If this plan fails, the aliens will be very angry. They will destroy Earth and every human colony. There will be no second chance. The room became quiet. Everyone understood how dangerous this plan was. If it worked, humanity would be free. If it failed, humanity would be gone forever. How long do we have to decide? Hyun-woo asked. The alien message said 72 hours, Yoonji replied. But we need to start preparing now if we want to try this. Hyun-woo stood up and walked to the small window in the room. He could see part of the alien fleet from here. The ships looked like metal, monsters floating in space. They had conquered hundreds of worlds and destroyed species that did not obey them. But humans were different. Humans did not give up easily. They found ways to win, even when winning seemed impossible. I will talk to the Earth Council, Hyun-woo said. But I think we should try your plan. It is better than surrendering and becoming slaves. Yoonji nodded. I hoped you would say that. Dr. Dong-hyun and Dr. So-young will prepare the disruptors. I will find a pilot brave enough to fly the mission. And I will make sure Earth is ready for whatever happens next, Hyun-woo said. They all shook hands. In 72 hours they would know if humanity had a future or if this was their last day of freedom. Outside the window, the alien fleet waited like hungry wolves. They thought humans were weak and stupid. Soon, they would learn how wrong they were. Lieutenant Jin Ho-nam checked his equipment one more time. His hands moved quickly over the controls of the small transport ship. Everything had to be perfect. In 2 hours, he would fly toward the largest alien fleet in history and pretend to surrender for all of humanity. The ship looked like a normal civilian transport from the outside. Inside, it was very different. Hidden under the floor were thousands of quantum disruptors. Each one was smaller than a grain of rice but could destroy a warship bigger than a city. Radio check, came Captain Yoonji Kim's voice through his headset. I hear you clearly, Jin-ho replied. He was alone on the ship, but he knew hundreds of people were watching and listening from Earth. Remember the plan, Yoonji said. Act scared, act defeated. Make them believe Earth is really surrendering. Jin-ho touched the fake surrender documents on his control panel. They looked real because they were real. President Garcia had actually signed them just in case the mission failed. If Jin-ho was captured, the aliens would find genuine surrender papers. I understand, Jin-ho said. How does the alien fleet look? They are still in the same formation, came Dr. So-young Choi's voice. 847 ships arranged in 7 groups. Perfect for our disruptors. Jin-ho started his engines. The small ship lifted off from Earth's hidden military base. As he flew toward space, he could see cities below him. Millions of people were down there, trusting him to save them. Transport. Ship, this is Admiral Kethvar, came a deep alien voice over the radio. Jin-ho felt his heart beat faster. The alien commander was talking directly to him. This is Earth Transport Ship Peaceful Dawn, Jin-ho replied, making his voice sound scared and weak. I carry surrender documents from the Earth government. There was a long pause. Jin-ho could imagine the aliens checking their sensors, looking for tricks. But his ship appeared to be exactly what he said. A harmless transport carrying surrender papers. You may approach, the alien admiral finally said. But know this, human. Any deception will result in the immediate destruction of your world. I understand, Jin-ho said. Earth surrenders. Please do not hurt our people. As his ship flew toward the alien fleet, Jin-ho got his first close look at the enemy. The ships were huge beyond belief. The smallest ones were 10 times bigger than Earth's largest warships. The biggest ones looked like floating cities with enough weapons to crack planets. My God, Jinho whispered to himself. No wonder the aliens were confident. These ships had conquered hundreds of worlds. They had never lost a battle. Transport ship, reduce speed and follow the guide beam, ordered an alien voice. A blue beam of light appeared in front of Jinho's ship. He followed it toward the center of the fleet, where the command ships waited. Alien warships surrounded him on all sides. Their weapons were pointed at his tiny ship. Jinho, you are doing perfectly, came Unji's voice through his hidden radio. The aliens believe you. Keep acting scared. That was not hard to do. Jinho was scared. Any one of these alien ships could destroy him with a single shot. He was flying through the most dangerous place in the galaxy with weapons that could start a galactic war, hidden in his cargo hold. Transport ship, prepare to be boarded, the alien admiral announced. Our security teams will inspect your vessel and escort you to the flagship. Jinho's hands started to sweat. He had expected this, but it was still frightening. Alien soldiers would come onto his ship and search it. If they found the quantum disruptors, everything would be over. I understand, Jinho said into his radio. I will cooperate fully. 2 alien ships moved closer to his transport. They were smaller than the warships, but still much bigger than Jinho's vessel. Docking tubes extended from their sides and connected to his ship with loud metallic clanks. The airlock door opened and alien soldiers came in. They looked like giant lizards wearing black armor and carrying energy weapons. Their red eyes scanned everything suspiciously. I'm Sergeant Vaktar, said the lead alien. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. You will come with us. Do not try anything foolish. I won not, Jinho said, still acting frightened. Please, I just want this to end peacefully. The alien searched his ship but found nothing suspicious. The quantum disruptors were hidden too well and were too small for their sensors to detect. To them, it looked like an ordinary transport ship. Where are the surrender documents? Sergeant Vaktar demanded. Jinho handed over the sealed case containing President Garcia's signed papers. The alien examined them carefully, then spoke into a small communication device. Admiral, the human has brought genuine surrender documents. They appear legitimate. Good, came the Admiral's reply. Bring him to the flagship. It is time to accept humanity's surrender and discuss their future as our servants. The aliens escorted Jinho through their docking tube into one of their ships. Inside, everything was designed for creatures much larger than humans. The ceilings were very high, and the corridors were wide enough for trucks to drive through. Alien. Crew members stopped their work to stare at Jinho as he passed. Most had never seen a human before. To them, he looked small and weak. They could not understand how his species had caused so much trouble. Your people should have surrendered months ago, said Sergeant Vaktar as they walked. Many lives could have been saved. We are a stubborn species, Jinho replied honestly. But we know when we are beaten. The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. Yes, 800 ships tend to make even the most stubborn species see reason. They reached a shuttle bay where a smaller ship waited to take Jinho to the flagship. As they flew between the massive warships, Jinho memorized everything he saw: gun positions, shield generators, communication arrays, all the targets his quantum disruptors would need to find. Impressive, is it not? Asked Sergeant Vaktar, noticing Jinho staring at the warships. This fleet has conquered 47 worlds. Your Earth will be number 48. It is very impressive, Jinho agreed. Inside, he was thinking about how all these mighty ships would be powerless in less than an hour. The flagship was the largest ship Jinho had ever seen. It was shaped like a giant sword, and was easily 10 kilometers long. Thousands of windows dotted its hull, each one representing rooms full of alien crew members. Admiral Kethavar commands from the central bridge, Sergeant Vaktar explained, as they docked with the flagship. He has destroyed more worlds than any other admiral in hegemony history. You should feel honored to surrender to such a warrior. Jinho nodded, but he was not thinking about honor. He was thinking about timing. According to his hidden watch, he had 15 minutes before the quantum disruptors would activate automatically. Whether he was on the flagship or back on his own ship, The disruptors would release themselves and spread through hyperspace to find their targets. The flagship's interior was even more impressive than the smaller ships. Golden decorations covered the walls, and holographic displays showed star maps of the galaxy. Red dots marked every world the aliens had conquered. There were thousands of them. "Soon we will add a new dot for Earth," said Sergeant Vaktar proudly. They took an elevator up through many levels of the ship. Jin-Ho could feel the artificial gravity and hear the hum of massive engines. This ship alone had enough firepower to level continents. "We have arrived," announced Sergeant Vaktar as the elevator stopped. "You will meet Admiral Kethvar now. Remember to show proper respect, or he may decide to destroy your world anyway." The elevator doors opened to reveal the bridge of the flagship. It was enormous, with dozens of alien officers working at control stations. At the center sat Admiral Kethvar on a throne-like chair. The alien admiral was bigger than the others, with more scars and a more elaborate uniform. When he looked at Jin-Ho, his red eyes showed nothing but contempt. "So this is what a human looks like," Admiral Kethvar said in his deep voice. "Smaller than I expected, weaker too." Jin-Ho bowed, his head playing his role perfectly. "I bring Earth's unconditional surrender, Admiral. Please show mercy to my people." "Mercy?" The alien admiral laughed, showing his sharp teeth. "Your people defied the hegemony. They demanded equality with their superiors. There will be consequences." Jin-Ho's hidden watch showed 2 minutes remaining. Soon the quantum disruptors would activate and spread through the fleet like an invisible plague. The aliens had no idea what was coming. "Earth accepts any punishment you decide," Jin-Ho said humbly. "We only ask that you spare civilian lives." "That depends on how cooperative your people are," Admiral Kethvar replied. "If they serve us well, they will live. If they cause trouble, they will join the other extinct species." 1 minute remaining. Jin-Ho could feel his heart pounding, but he kept his face calm. Around him, alien officers went about their duties, confident in their overwhelming power. They had no idea that in 60 seconds, their mighty fleet would become a collection of dead metal floating in space. The countdown in Jin-Ho's mind reached 0, and he held his breath, waiting to see if humanity's desperate gamble would work. The quantum disruptors activated at exactly 14:23:16 Galactic Standard Time. Jin-Ho stood on the bridge of the alien flagship, watching the countdown in his mind reach 0. Admiral Kethvar continued speaking about humanity's future as slaves, not knowing that death was already spreading through his fleet. The disruptors were invisible and silent. They traveled through hyperspace faster than light, seeking the quantum signatures of alien technology. Each one was programmed to find a specific type of quantum core and create a cascading failure that would spread through every system on the ship. Second 1. The first disruptors reached the outer perimeter ships. On the bridge of the destroyer, Iron Claw, Captain Zorkon noticed a small flicker on his instrument panel. "Engineering, we have a minor power fluctuation in Quantum Core 3, he reported. "Probably just a sensor glitch, sir," came the reply from the engine room. "All systems show normal." Second 3. More disruptors found their targets. The battleship Starkiller experienced a brief dimming of lights. The cruiser Deathwind felt a small vibration in its hull. None of the alien crews were worried yet. These ships were built to last for centuries. Small glitches were normal. Second 7. The disruptors began their work inside the quantum cores. Microscopic changes started happening at the subatomic level. The carefully balanced quantum fields that powered the alien ships began to shift and wobble. On Earth, Dr. So-Young Choi watched her instruments carefully. "The disruptors have reached their targets," she reported to Captain Yoon-Ji Kim. "Quantum interference is beginning." Second 12. The first serious problems appeared. The destroyer Iron Claw lost power to its weapon systems. Emergency lights came on throughout the ship. Captain Zorkon stood up from his command chair, his red eyes showing concern. "All stations report," he ordered. "What is happening to my ship?" "Sir, we are losing quantum coherence in all primary systems," his chief engineer replied, panic clear in his voice. I have never seen anything like this before. Second 15. Admiral Kethvar was still talking to Jin Ho when his communication officer called out. Admiral, we are receiving distress signals from 17 ships. They report total system failures. The alien admiral turned toward his officer, his confident expression beginning to change. What kind of failures? Unknown, sir. Quantum cores. Are going offline across the outer perimeter. Jin Ho kept his face blank, but inside he felt a surge of excitement. It was working. The disruptors were doing exactly what Dr. Dong Hyun had promised. Second 18. The failure cascade accelerated. Ships that had ruled space for centuries suddenly found themselves powerless. Life support systems failed. Artificial gravity stopped working. Emergency systems that were supposed to last for days died in minutes. The battlecruiser Galaxy Crusher went dark completely. Its massive hull, armed with enough weapons to destroy planets, became nothing more than a metal tomb floating in space. Second 22. Admiral Kethvar's confidence cracked as more reports flooded in. Sir, we have lost contact with 93 ships, his communication officer reported. They are not responding to any signals. Impossible, the admiral growled. These ships are invincible. They have conquered hundreds of worlds. Jin Ho wanted to smile but kept his expression worried and confused. What is happening? He asked, playing his part perfectly. Are we under attack? Second 26. The disruptors reached the middle formations. Hundreds of alien warships that had never known defeat suddenly experienced total system shutdown. There, quantum cores designed to power ships for decades failed within seconds of each other. On the bridge of the dreadnought World Ender, Admiral Sekvash watched in horror as his entire fleet went dark around him. This cannot be happening, he whispered. What force in the universe could do this? Second 30. Half the fleet was now powerless. Ships that had been moving in perfect formation began to drift as their engines died. Emergency beacons flashed, weakly before they too went silent. Dr. So Young watched her readings with amazement. The quantum cascade is spreading faster than we calculated, she told Yoonji. The aliens built their ships using identical technology. When one core fails, it creates quantum interference that makes the other cores unstable too. Second 34. Admiral Kethvar finally understood that something was terribly wrong. His own flagship began to shake as its massive quantum cores struggled to maintain power. Seal the bridge, he ordered. Activate all defensive systems. Find out what is attacking us. But there was nothing to find. The disruptors were too small and moved too fast for alien sensors to detect. They struck like invisible lightning, killing ships that seemed impossible to kill. Second 38. 3/4 of the fleet was dead or dying. The few ships that still had power tried desperately to scan for enemies, but they found nothing. Their sensors showed empty space around them, no sign of any attacking force. Admiral, called the tactical officer on Kethvar's flagship, his voice shaking with fear. I am detecting no hostile ships, no energy weapons, no missiles, nothing that could cause this kind of damage. Then what is destroying my fleet? Admiral Kethvar roared. Jin Ho spoke up quietly. Maybe your ships are just old and breaking down? The alien admiral spun toward him, red eyes blazing with fury. My ships are perfect. They are built with the finest technology in the galaxy. Nothing can destroy them. Second 41. The flagship itself began to die. The lights dimmed and control panels started shutting down one by one. The artificial gravity fluctuated, making everyone stumble. Core breach in Quantum Reactor 7, someone shouted. We are losing containment. Admiral Kethvar realized his mighty flagship was about to become a tomb. Send a message to Hegemony Command, he ordered. Tell them Earth has some kind of superweapon. Warn them to Second 44. The flagship's communication systems failed. The message was never sent. Around them, the last few functioning ships in the fleet went dark as their quantum cores finally gave up the fight against the spreading cascade failure. This is impossible, Admiral Kethvar said quietly, staring at his dead control panels. 847 ships cannot be destroyed by invisible weapons that do not exist. But they could be, and they were. Second 47. The final quantum core failed. The last alien ship went dark. 847 warships that had conquered countless worlds now floated powerless in space. Their crews were still alive, but they were trapped inside metal coffins with no way to escape. The alien admiral looked around his dead bridge and finally understood. The small human standing in front of him had not come to surrender. He had come to deliver death. "You did this," Admiral Kethvar said, his voice now quiet and defeated. "Somehow you destroyed my entire fleet." Jinho dropped his act of being a scared messenger. He stood up straight and looked the alien admiral in the eyes. "Earth does not surrender," he said firmly, "and humans are not as weak as you thought." The alien admiral reached for his weapon, but the power was gone. His energy pistol was as dead as his ship. He was the supreme commander of the greatest fleet in galactic history, and he had been defeated by a single human carrying invisible weapons in a tiny transport ship. On Earth, Dr. So-Young checked her instruments one final time. "All alien quantum signatures have gone silent," she reported. "The mission is complete." Captain Yoon-ji activated her communication system. "All ships, this is Earth Defense Command. The alien fleet has been neutralized. Repeat, the threat is over." In 47 seconds, humanity had gone from facing extinction to achieving the impossible. They had destroyed the most powerful fleet ever assembled using weapons the aliens could not even detect. The age of alien dominance over humanity was over. The age of human independence had begun, and it had taken less than 1 minute to change the fate of the galaxy forever. 3 days after the fleet died, emergency meetings were happening all across the galaxy. On the planet Hegemony Prime, the ruling council sat in shocked silence. For the first time in 1,000 years, they did not know what to do. 847 ships, repeated Councillor Vexmar, his scaled hands shaking. Gone in less than 1 minute. No survivors. No explanation. The great hall where they met had seen the conquest of hundreds of worlds. Maps on the walls showed the vast Hegemony Empire, with Earth marked as a tiny dot in one corner. That tiny dot had just done something impossible. "What do we know about the humans?" asked High Counselor Ralthek. "Very little," admitted Intelligence, Chief Morden. "We thought they were primitives. They only discovered faster than light travel 5 years ago. Their technology seemed centuries behind ours. Their technology just destroyed our greatest fleet," Ralthek replied coldly. "Perhaps our intelligence was wrong." On Earth, Commander Hyunwoo Park stood in his control room watching rescue operations. Human ships were flying to the dead alien fleet, trying to save the surviving crew members. Many aliens were surprised by this kindness. "Sir, we have Admiral Kethvar on a medical transport," reported Lieutenant Jiho. "He wants to speak with you." Hyunwoo nodded. "Put him on screen." The alien admiral appeared, looking old and defeated. His proud uniform was torn and dirty. "Human commander," he said quietly, "why are you saving my people? We came here to destroy you." "Because that is what humans do," Hyunwoo replied. "We do not kill helpless enemies. We save lives when we can." Admiral Kethvar was silent for a long moment. "I have never seen such behavior from a conquered species." "We are not conquered," Hyunwoo corrected gently. "And neither are you. We want to talk, not fight." The alien admiral looked confused. "Talk? About what?" "About peace. About working together instead of fighting. About building something better than the old empire." Meanwhile, in her laboratory, Dr. So-Young Choi was doing something that shocked alien scientists across the galaxy. She was publishing all of humanity's quantum research on the Galactic Information Network, for free. Any species could download it and use it. "Why are you giving this away?" asked Dr. Zekthar, a reptilian scientist who had contacted her from the Hegemony Science Institute. "This technology could make your people rich and powerful." "Knowledge belongs to everyone," Dr. So-Young replied through the video link. "Humans believe that science should help all species, not just one. But you could rule the galaxy with weapons like this?" Dr. Zekthar protested. Why share it with potential enemies? Because we do not want to rule anyone, Dr. So Young explained. We want to explore the universe and learn new things. We want friends, not subjects. This idea was so strange to most aliens that they could not understand it. Every other species in the galaxy fought for dominance and control. Humans seemed to fight for something different. Captain Yoon-ji Kim was busy with her own mission. She was flying to the galactic capital with Earth's first official diplomatic team. President Garcia had chosen her to lead the negotiations because she understood both military strategy and alien psychology. Captain, we are receiving many messages from alien governments, reported her communications officer. Some want to surrender to us. Others want to form alliances. A few are asking us to help them fight their enemies. Yoon-ji shook her head. Tell them all the same thing. Earth is not interested in conquest or empire. We want trade, friendship, and cooperation. On the ship with her was Lieutenant Jin-ho Nam, who had become famous throughout human space. He was uncomfortable with the attention, but Yoon-ji had convinced him to come along as a military advisor. Do you think the aliens will believe us? Jin-ho asked. About wanting peace instead of power? Some will, Yoon-ji replied. Others will think it is a trick. It will take time to prove we are serious. General Tai Min-yoon was working on a different problem. Earth needed defenses in case some aliens decided to attack them again. But instead of building weapons, he was creating something new, a galactic peacekeeping force. We will share our defensive technology with any species that wants to protect themselves, he explained to his staff. But we will not give offensive weapons to anyone. Sir, how can we tell the difference? Asked his aide. The same technology can be used for attack or defense. We will train their people here on Earth, Taemin replied. If they come to learn from us, we can judge their intentions. If they want to build weapons of conquest, we will know. The most dramatic change happened on the planet Saros, home of the Sarok Empire. When news arrived that Admiral Kethvar's fleet had been destroyed, riots broke out in the capital city. The Sarok had built their society on military might and conquest. Without their fleet, they felt helpless and afraid. Emperor Vashkol called an emergency meeting with his generals. What are our options? He demanded. Can we build a new fleet? It would take decades, Your Majesty, replied General Korvan. And if the humans can destroy 800 ships in 1 minute, what chance would a new fleet have? Then we surrender to the humans? We could try, said General Korvan. But from what our spies report, the humans do not seem interested in accepting surrenders. They want something called diplomatic relations. Emperor Vashkol did not understand this concept. What does that mean? Talking instead of fighting, Your Majesty. Sharing instead of taking. Working together instead of conquering. That sounds like weakness, the Emperor said suspiciously. Perhaps, Your Majesty, but their weakness just destroyed our strongest fleet. 6 months later, Earth's first embassy opened at the galactic capital. The building was designed to look peaceful and welcoming, very different from the military fortresses that other species built. Yunwoo Park had been chosen as Earth's first galactic ambassador. He stood in his new office looking out at the busy alien city below. Ships from dozens of species flew past his window, carrying diplomats who wanted to meet the humans. Ambassador, your first appointment is here, announced his secretary. It is Ambassador Krelnak from the Hegemony Council. Hyunwoo nodded. Send him in. The alien ambassador was tall and thin, with blue skin and large eyes. He looked nervous as he entered the office. Ambassador Park, Krelnak said formally. I come with a message from the Hegemony Council. We wish to discuss arrangements between our peoples. What kind of arrangements? Hyunwoo asked. Trade agreements, technology exchanges, perhaps some form of partnership. Hyunwoo smiled. We would be happy to discuss those things, but first let me ask you something. What does the hegemony want from humanity? Krelnak looked surprised by the direct question. Want? We are not sure. Your species is very different from others we have encountered. Different how? You defeated our greatest fleet, but instead of conquering us, you offer to save our crews. You develop powerful weapons, but then you share the technology freely. You could rule the galaxy, but you want to talk about cooperation instead. Yun Wu leaned back in his chair. My friend, humans learned long ago that ruling others by force never works for very long. The conquered always rebel eventually. It is better to have friends than subjects. But friends can betray you, Krelnak pointed out. Yes, they can, Hyunwoo agreed. But subjects will always betray you if they get the chance. At least friends choose to work with you. This conversation was happening all across the galaxy as human diplomats met with alien leaders. Some species tried to understand humanity's strange approach to power. Others decided to copy it, hoping to gain some of humanity's mysterious strength. Dr. Dong-Hyun Lee found himself busier than ever. His laboratory on Earth was full of alien scientists who had come to study human methods. They wanted to understand how humans thought so differently about technology and warfare. The key is chaos, he explained to a group of visitors. Most species design their technology to be perfect and predictable, but perfect systems are fragile. If you introduce something unexpected, they break. So you make your technology imperfect on purpose? Asked Dr. Yeltar, an insectoid scientist. Not imperfect, Dr. Dong-Hyun corrected. Flexible, adaptable, able to handle surprises. Human technology is built to survive in an unpredictable universe. But that seems inefficient, protested Dr. Yeltar. Maybe. But inefficient systems that survive are better than efficient systems that break when something goes wrong. This philosophy was spreading to other areas besides technology. Human approaches to government, economics, and even art were becoming popular throughout the galaxy. Species that had followed the same patterns for millennia were suddenly trying new things. 1 year after the 47th War, as historians were already calling it, a remarkable thing happened. The old galactic hegemony voted to dissolve itself. In its place, they created the Galactic Cooperative Council, with representatives from every species, including humans. Earth was given not just 1 seat on the council, but 7, more than any other single world. When some species complained about this, the council's response surprised everyone. The humans have proven that power should go to those who use it wisely, declared Councillor Krelnak, who had become one of humanity's strongest supporters. They could have conquered us all, but chose cooperation instead. They earned their influence through wisdom, not warfare.